Because there is no way he could afford and maintain the extravagant lifestyle he leads, when Russian President Vladimir Putin claims to only make a few $100,000 a year, he is actually referring to a form of payment that we are not aware of. Former Deputy Prime Minister Boris Nemstop, who fervently and vindictively produced a 36-page book on Putin's habits, showed the full scope of how opulent Putin's life is. He listed the 20 or so mansions and estates that Putin owns, along with the 58 planes, 4 boats, and 700 vehicles that are at his disposal and are said to cost roughly $1.6 billion annually to maintain. We initially believed that nothing he had could compare to the extravagant and opulent private bathroom in his jet, which cost $75,000, but we have yet to see his $1 billion mansion. Yes, you read that right. Putin ordered the construction of a $1 billion palace for himself. This was a very secretive enterprise that had its beginnings going back in his first tenure as president. After being fired in 2010, one of Putin's former spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, disclosed the real reason behind this covert operation. Putin would later claim that he had no connection to the controversy, but everyone is aware that he was responsible for all the interior design work done in his 4-story home. Businessman Sergei Klesnikov first brought attention to this scandalous project Russian before whistleblower Dmitry Peskov did. He revealed that a residence is being built on the Black Sea coast for the exclusive use of the Russian Prime Minister in an open letter to Dmitry Medvedev, the then president of Russia, in 2010. Additionally, he stated that the palace currently costs $1 billion. The majority of the money was obtained by a combination of theft, bribery, and corruption. Now that you mention it, you might be wondering how extravagant and lavish this mansion must be to spark such a ruckus and debate. Even more contentious than Mukesh Ambani's $2 billion house in India, Antilia, may be said to be. Putin exploited resources from his country, but Ambani paid for his 27-story residence out of his own wallet. Check it out for yourself. A huge Italiente building known as Putin's Palace is thought to be 250,000 square feet wide and located in a forested 40-acre area with a good view of the Black Sea. It is situated next to the resort of Galenzite in the little tourist town of Proskovka. Putin's palace, which is encircled by an iron rod fence adorned with gold insignia and gold imperial eagles, boasts a long list of incredible luxuries. It has a casino of its own, a church, a clock tower, multiple swimming pools, tea cafes, a large outdoor amphitheater in the summer, and more. Outside, kilometers of trees and mountains around this impressive property, which is also said to include underground passages. Putin's palace is built in the traditional neoclassical style and has a private courtyard and formal grounds. The only contemporary addition is a landing pad with bays large enough to accommodate 3 helicopters. Large hedges, a stunning fountain, and even some hedges that have been trimmed into the shape of a heart can be found in the expertly and lovingly planted gardens, revealing an unexpected tender side of the President of Russia. Although we don't know who made the decision to carve a heart in Putin's property, we should give them some praise for how lovely their work appears. Only satellite images captured of the area are able to provide us with all this information and imagery. The site's employees are said to have leaked some of the images. Come back inside for more ostentatious features. We've talked about the several swimming pools, but did you realize it also means there are 2 cold plunge pools and an indoor heated pool? A sauna and a gym are also included in this palace. Of course, there are staff flats and somewhere for security personnel to stay. The exterior reveals that Putin was influenced by the infamously opulent holiday homes of 18th century czars. With all the imposing columns, stone archways, and enormous crystal chandeliers that hang in almost every room, he realized his vision. From the few images that have been made public, it is easy to see the gold ceilings and the opulent canopy bed with silky sheets and gold decorations. Hand-painted murals that cover the walls and ceilings give the palace a Renaissance-style appearance, especially when combined with the interior's stunning crown molding and scalloped columns. Several dining rooms and boardrooms are also designed in a similar way, and there is a garden in the middle of this astronomically expensive estate. Although we are unsure, the restrooms undoubtedly resemble the gold $75,000 toilet on his private jet. This man is always seen wearing a stylish watch on his wrist, and he has a watch collection that includes timepieces that range in value from $687,000 to over $1 million. This palace has been compared to France's Versailles because it is so extravagant and outrageously gorgeous. How in the world was Putin able to build such a lavish palace? We are unsure of the exact moment when President Putin had the idea to construct his own 4-story, gold-plated Versailles, but we do know that he personally called for improvements to Russia's subpar healthcare systems in 2005. 5 years later, investigators discovered that some hospitals were being forced to pay suppliers 2 to 3 times the amount they should have for necessary equipment like diagnostic scanners. We are aware that while Putin is modest about disclosing his wealth, he has a number of extraordinarily influential pals, including billionaire owner of the Chelsea football team, Roman Abramovich. Because of Putin's relationship with the oligarch, Abramovich gave him a $50 million super yacht. We're not surprised given that Roman Abramovich owns the $1.9 billion Eclipse, one of the most costly yachts in the world. Therefore, a number of oligarchs in Russia, like Abramovich, gave millions of dollars to support Putin's agenda and ostensibly upgrade the country's hospitals. Actually, they were financing his dream house. It turns out that Putin had allegedly used these cash, along with other funds, to create his craziest Pinterest board, which was intended to strengthen the nation's healthcare system. When the businessman Kolesnikov exposed Putin's covert project South, he acknowledged having worked on it himself until 2009. Later, when anti-corruption groups rushed the front doors of the Putin palace, they were repelled by armed private security guards and uniformed Kremlin guards. Why would official Kremlin guards loiter outside a typical palace of a billionaire? According to the private security firm, they obtained the uniforms and Kremlin identification cards from a store. In the end, it is said that this palace was too bothersome for Putin to keep, and he sold it for $350 million to Alexander Ponomarenko, a former owner of the Black Sea port of Novorossiysk, and another close friend of Putin. Putin most likely still owns the palace. Would you also give up a structure as amazing as this palace if you had one? If you like this video, let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.